people will come pitching me and like begging me for money. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing ever. Like, a founder should have the mindset of like, this is a two-way conversation, and investors should have almost the privilege of being on the journey. This really is a marriage that we're trying to explore. I really like it when I'm having like real conversations with founders.
Like, I know right now you want to give me money. I just can tell you're honest. But you know what I mean?
The checkbook, right? Ready for this? That was part of the requirements for the show. Thanks to Triple Whale for sponsoring Business Envy. Triple Whale centralizes the metrics from all of the tools you use right into your pocket. Go to trytriplewhale.com and use promo code ENVY15 for 15% off.
Ben, how are you?
I'm in my thoughts and my brain, Greg. How are you?
Well, that's exactly where I was last night. I couldn't sleep, dude. It's driving me crazy that we haven't chosen. When I'm about to pitch a network or a studio, I have an idea. I know exactly what I want to do. I'm pitching them the idea that they're ready to hear, right? We have several ideas. Now, I'm not saying that I don't have several ideas when I go into a meeting, because if that first idea, when I first tell them, they say, we have something like it. Sorry, thanks for coming. I want to be able to go, oh, you know what? Before I go, how about these two? But does that work in business? Should you be focused on one thing? Or is it okay to say, hey, I have a few things? Or do you seem like you're willy-nilly?
It's one of the hardest problems trying to figure out what to start with. And we kind of like box ourselves in. We're like, we're going to start this show. We're going to launch a business. We're going to actually take the ideas and the lessons from our guests and apply it. We don't even know yet exactly like how this is going to work. This is the first business we're going to do together.
Right.
So we got to pick one. And
well, we've narrowed it down to 3. And
right.
we really love, it's either, Baby Burrito, Pint Parka, or Sonic Art. All 3 of those, I think, have merit, have legs, and could be huge and very relatable. But you need to focus, and I need to focus. We need to find that one idea. I think we need to find an audience. We need to get the attention of someone who knows, maybe a VC.
Yeah, someone who says spent nothing but a lot of time figuring this stuff out.
So do I have your permission to sort of attack, together we'll do it, attack a VC and get his thumbs up or thumbs down? It's sort of our Shark Tank moment.
As long as you don't actually tackle him physically, I'm all for it.
What are you
actually,
talking about?
If you want to tackle him physically and he's okay with it, cool. That'll be a cool video for later.
Should we pitch all 3 or just one idea?
I think in our case, we need to just get his opinion on all of them. Because
Great.
look, we're not pitching him for money today. We're getting his feedback. We're getting his advice. When we go in to ask him for $20 million someday, we'll only have one thing to pitch him, and there'll be lots of pretty numbers and graphs.
Great. So we have 3 great ideas. We're going to throw them at his face to see what sticks. This is Business Envy. All right, Ben, who do we have on the show today? Who is this brilliant VC you keep telling me about that we're going to pitch our idea to?
We have on today Kobie Fuller. Kobie Fuller is a general partner over at Upfront Ventures, which is one of the top VC firms, not just in LA, but in the entire country. And he has like a whole bunch of notable early wins. He was an early investor in Oculus, in ExactTarget, and he helped start a bunch of other VC firms before. Not only that, beforehand, he was the chief marketing officer at REVOLVE, the like super huge like fashion commerce brand. So this is a person who knows all those things. Even crazier, he just sold a company he started while being a VC that helps Black founders and Black executives get the coaching and the network that they need. And he just sold that company too. And he's been helping founders that are underrepresented get the money and get the experience they need.
Okay, let's do a little
Sure.
over-under. What idea do you think he is going to love, based on his background, that he, with these companies and these products he's been involved in, and that he's had early wins with? Do you think he's going to love the baby sector, the mommy sector with Baby Burrito? Is he going to love the dessert, ice cream, and novelty sector with Pint Parka? Or is he going to absolutely love the technology and the entertainment value of Sonic Art?
if Kobie is a father, and I'm pretty sure he is, I think it will naturally go to Baby Burrito. But I don't know if I want to put a bet on that yet.
You don't think this guy eats ice cream? Pint Parka? He's going to love it. I mean, the listeners right now are going, wait, we don't even know what these ideas are. But I love that. So start thinking about that. Let's get Kobie in here. I can't wait to pitch this guy. It's perfect. If we don't get $20 million out of him,
show's over. It's good. We're done.
You guys hear me?
that's all, folks.
Yes. I think
you hear
Okay,
us?
now. All right, cool. Sorry, sorry. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I'm usually not that inept all the time.
I don't know. Ben told me you're pretty inept.
Damn it! Figured it out.
My fault.
Oh, man.
How's it going? Good to meet.
So nice to meet you, Kobie. How are you?
I'm great.
I just want to dive right in because I'm so excited that we have you and we have your attention and we can talk to someone so successful and such in the VC world.
That. Why am I even on here? I'm just
no. I mean, Ben has. Don't screw this up because Ben has built you up so much. No, so excited to talk to you because, as you know or may not know, Ben and I are starting a business. That's what this podcast is. We want to learn from people. And we have three great ideas. First of all, before we pitch you these three and hear your opinion on them, how did you get to where you are? How did you become such a successful VC? When did you decide to be a VC? Is that just like I'm flush with cash, I want to help other people and try and invest in their companies?
Yeah, no, I just woke up at, after kindergarten and it was just like, you know what, I'm going to give people money and own some of their business and then make billions and then be a conqueror of the world. No, actually how it originally came to be was actually the intersection of athletics and technology. So I went to Harvard, ran track all 4 years, actually ended up being captain my senior year.
Wow.
And my buddy who was on the track team with me was also a member of the Jamaican junior national soccer team. So he had an idea around okay, let's use the internet to connect soccer players with recruiters. And this could be something we could make money on and maybe raise capital against. So this is during the 99-2000 era. And
okay.
Funny enough, I don't even like soccer. I'm not a huge soccer fan, but I was oh, wait a minute, people are starting these .coms. Let's try this out. So we ended up launching this business, and we raised a couple $1 million of angel investment from friends and family and the like. Launched this recruiting portal that then started evolving into an all-encompassing soccer portal with news, and we're hosting English Premier League players' websites, MLS players' websites. We got to be one of the highest traffic soccer sites online. We thought we were big kids conquering the world. And then we had this offer from a company called Terra Lycos, if you guys even remember that name, back in the day.
Yeah.
And they wanted to acquire us for $15 million. And we were nah, this thing's be worth billions. That's
no.
And so we're just no, we ain't doing that. And then we went on this tour to raise venture dollars. And then this is when sort of everything started evaporating and people started realizing there's no real business model behind most of these internet companies. And then it just went down in a big ball of flames. I mean, we had no revenue model. Maybe we sold a soccer ball to my buddy's brother, and then we just but it was through that process where we were putting on our best show to these folks that would come by the office and ask us all these intrusive questions, and we would tell them all our inner secrets, or at least most of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
And I was who are those people? We're cleaning things up, put on a clean shirt and try and impress them, and they just walk around and just get to learn what's going on everywhere, and then they can just say yes or no. And I'm that's a really cool job.
So I have to say what you just said brought up a memory. I started one of the first mobile coupon apps called Yowza. Right, went up to Sand Hill Road and went up to that
Mark
area.
Suster, you pitched Mark Suster as partner.
Oh yeah, that's your partner.
You pitched Mark? Yeah,
oh my God,
partner.
Mark took us to dinner in San Francisco. Mark is awesome. I haven't talked to him in forever, but he was just so great. I don't know if he is an actor, but man, he comes across as the nicest guy who truly cares. He's not trying to take advantage of you. I mean, he was one of the people, and this was after we went to Yahoo, and we sat in the room at Yahoo, and everybody was around the table, and they were like, and they're picking our brain. It's exactly what you just said. Picking our brain, asking us questions. And we had done all the hard work. We're trying to get the retailers, trying to get their coupons, trying to just acquire, because it's a chicken and the egg, right? So the consumer's not going to use it unless there's a lot of valuable coupons. The retailer's not going to do it unless there's a lot of users. So I was on Martha Stewart, I was on Ellen, I was on The Tonight Show talking about the movies and TV I was on, and then that's over in 5 seconds. And then they're like, "What's this app you created?" Anyway, Yahoo is like so interested, and halfway through the meeting, I'm like, "These fuckers are stealing my idea right now. They don't need me." And I had that feeling. I'm like, God, man. And as an actor and as a producer, all you want to do is greenlight your own shit. You don't want to wait for anybody else to say, give their blessing, give their permission, their money. But it's tough, right? So that's a great memory. And also, by the way, I got to go back. It's interesting because we started this conversation talking about sports, and I'm fascinated as to why you didn't find a business model there and some verticals, because a Game Changer, I don't know if you know about Game Changer, but Game Changer is this app where if you can't be at your kid's Little League game or soccer game or football game, one of the dads, one of the moms will keep score on the app, and everybody else from around the world can go on and follow the game. It's called Game Changer.
That's cool.
It caught on so big that Dick's Sporting Goods bought them because they said, wait a minute, we have every parent. They have millions of parents, and they can sell and put ads on. And now they found a way to monetize in a big, big way, and they partnered.
Wait, so you're saying I don't have to go to the Little League games anymore? Great answer is like, joking.
Best dad ever. Best dad ever. I'll see you at Taverna Tony's in Malibu when your kids are playing.
We'll send you the best dad ever mug and pin and sticker and hat shortly.
Okay, so let's go back to that moment. So now I love this. So you were like, we sold a couple soccer balls. Now what?
Yeah. So anyway, I figured I'll just finish up my degree at Harvard and actually graduate and realize that, like, okay, I probably need to learn a little bit about how the world really works. And I did a year of investment banking, and it was in pursuit of trying to find a way to use that as a stepping stone into venture capital, because I found out that most venture capitalists don't want to hire kids that have no experience straight out of school. Because I literally sent physical letters to every Boston-based VC, because I was living there at the time, and my now wife was from there, asking like, hey, like, would you want to hire me? I really want to find a way to pursue a career here. And like, I got like barely any responses, except maybe like 2 physical letters back with someone saying like, no. I'm like, you didn't have to send me a letter back saying no. I was like, not even, like, geez. So I decided to go into a career of investment banking for, I don't know, a short period of time. That's a longer other conversation, probably don't have to get into. But, and then sort of one of my good friends started with a firm that actually did recruit people straight out of school, a company in New York called Inside Venture Partners, where the role is that you're cold calling CEOs, trying to convince them to take your money. And I was able to meet with them and had the opportunity to join the firm as a wee old analyst and move to New York and pretty much start my career in VC in the year 2003.
Wow, so. That's amazing. And then today, what is your day to day? What is your passion? I obviously you've invested, you've had early success in a bunch of different great startups that are now big companies. But what do you wake up tomorrow morning? What are you checking to see if it's popping?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm just driven by working with amazing, highly talented, mission-driven founders where they are just so obsessed, where they're borderline psychotic on trying to build a business and bring it into this world. And that business clearly needs to be operating in a market that can justify there being a very, very, very large outcome, because our business to invest in companies that make our LP's dollars. And if I can have the privilege and the pleasure to go on that journey and that mission with those founders and have it be a fun ride along the way, like that to me is what drives me. How can I find again and again amazing, talented people that I can work with, invest in their companies, be on their boards, and just create ventures that have the ability to change the world in some way. And that's what drives me, is trying to find those entities. And then on the flip side, because I do actually end up investing in those companies, I'm managing and working with the portfolio of founders that I'm privileged to call friends, and we're going off and we're trying to put a dent in the world in some given area. And some companies are doing incredibly well, and it's just like high fives and things are going great. And some companies are doing okay, and some companies could be on the brink of death. And the crazy thing about this job is that dynamic can suddenly shift overnight one day, where suddenly that same company that was on the brink of death suddenly found some growth vector, or something changed in a macroeconomic perspective, or suddenly they're growing like gangbusters, and that same company that was doing incredibly well hits some stumble and some roadblock, and now they're on the brink of death. So it's like this job is so crazy in terms of just like how things can shift so quickly. And the way I at least try to approach things is just a neutral mindset around like, okay, like just need to take one step after the other, not be over passionate, over excited, over emotional with regards to what's happening in today's kind of world, the companies they're operating in, and just be there as a helpful investor board member to help them navigate their journey. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of a lot of what my day to day is, on top of a bunch of other just randomness that comes with the job.
Okay, so somebody has an idea like us, and they're about to pitch you. When you're about to take that meeting, tell me what they have to have before they get to you. What have you been disappointed in time and time again because you're like, why don't these? All you need to do is have this, this, and this laid out. What are those things that you absolutely want to see when they first come to you?
Yeah, so I think a lot of what I want them to have when they come to me is like, first off, like they need to be like mentally in the right sort of like mindset and orientation. Because some people, they'll come pitching me and they're like, they have the mindset of like they're pitching me and like begging me for money. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing ever. Like a founder should have the mindset of like, okay, this is a two-way conversation, and an investor should have almost the privilege of being on the journey and putting money into their business. So like, if you're not thinking that way, if you're already coming in with defeat, it's like, this is not a two-way conversation. Like you create this weird dynamic where it's like, suddenly I have like power. Like I really don't have the power. This really is a marriage that we're trying to explore. So I really like it when I'm having like honest, authentic, like real conversations with founders where we first off like get to know one another. It's so funny to me when I have some of these pitch meetings and I'll open up and first ask them like, hey, just tell me about yourself. And they're like, whoa, you want to know about me? Like, oh, I've never heard that before. It's like, well, yeah, like it'd be kind of cool for us to actually get to know each other as human beings before we potentially go on a decade plus long journey together. Yeah. And then too, what I also try to get a sense of is like, what is the journey that individual has gone on to date? And how has it brought them to this unique position and moment in time in their life where they have just the unfair advantage and just positioning to go on and execute this venture that they're looking to do? And so with that card, it's like, you have to be able to be a storyteller. You have to be able to articulate this, like the journey you've gone on through life and the journey you're about to go on with regards to starting this business in eloquent fashion that also ties into like what the business, what the product is, in a manner where I can clearly be able to suss out, do I want to go on that journey with that founder? Yeah. Or do I want to basically like let them keep going down that road and it's just not a fit for me? So it's being just authentic and transparent and just true to themselves. And lots of founders, they approach pitching like truly pitching in a way where it's like a game. They're trying to say things that they think the investor wants to hear. Yep. And that is like one of the worst things you ever can do as a founder raising capital.
But Kobie, you see a lot of different ideas, and we talk a lot in Silicon Valley about ideas versus execution. Let's talk about ideas for a second. When you're like hearing an idea, or you're hearing like the concepts for a business from somebody, Is there something that you're looking for that makes you think like, yes, this has potential? Or you hear something that's like, you need to think about X or Y before you go and do this? What makes an idea something worth pursuing?
Yeah, for me, at least the way I approach that is I try to talk to founders that are operating in categories that I know. So I'm coming in there with a prepared mind around, okay, this is a area of software or a sector or vertical that I already have a pre-existing thesis around pain points and ways in which, if there were technologies to attack these areas, like this is what would be exciting. So I look for founders that are like touching upon those given areas. And then where I get the most excited is that they're able to articulate an angle on the problem in a way that I never would have even thought of. That's absolutely brilliant and causes me to just be obsessed about their idea and want to go on their journey with them. So for me, it's having that prepared mind, being able to already have context around the customer, the buyer that they're actually selling into, and then for them to bring sort of a unique angle that they're uniquely positioned to execute against. That I process is like, okay, this could be lightning in a bottle. I don't know if that answers your question, but like it's very subtle.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I have to say, in the business that I'm in, I know a lot of the times when I go in and I'll pitch an idea or someone pitches me, the idea is going to evolve. If it's an idea,
time.
It's going to over time, especially in entertainment. It's, someone might come in and then the buyer that we're going to, or how the audience that we're going to tailor this for, it's going to change. So it's really, like you said, it is a marriage. If I don't see myself sitting and brainstorming and, being able to improv and come up with stuff and pivot, if they're not willing to do that, and you have more experience, obviously, because you probably can gauge this in 40 seconds. Like, I know right now you want to give me money. I just can tell it in your eyes. I could see it. I could just see it. But you know what I mean?
You have the checkbook, right? Ready for this? That was part of the requirements for the show.
By the way, do you golf?
I do not. That was my wallet.
Oh, you don't golf, because there's an idea I wanted to share with you, but I haven't even shared it with you
Wait,
yet.
do we have another startup idea?
Yeah,
now?
no, I mean, we've narrowed it down to 3, but this one is great. My son came up with it the other day, because baseball players always after baseball, they always play golf. I mean, it's just a natural. My son is getting really, really good at golf, and when I go out with him, I'm horrible, but I love to play golf. So what I have to do is, I'm not alone in this, I have to buy my balls at Costco, because I lose more golf balls. I just bought 24 balls for $36. Okay. But I spent $36 and I'm going to have them for 2 rounds of golf. So if
you lose 24 balls in 2 rounds of golf.
No, I'm just saying, no.
I was going to suggest we bring Tiger Woods on the show eventually, but he might be embarrassed by that.
That might not be your sport.
By the way, Tiger is who I was. Jerry Chang is a really good buddy of mine, and he's Tiger's financial guy and best friend, one of his best friends. And I was going to propose this to him. I was going to go, dude, my son Ben, who's really smart. If you're looking for an intern, he's available. My son Ben says to me, he's like, Dad, what about? I'm telling you, man. I am telling you.
We have no
It's a great
shortage
idea,
of startup ideas here.
No, and
we do have to pick one to start here.
That's not one that we were going to pitch you. So, but
we might start this now that it's been proposed on the show.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel that now, going back to ideas. No, and I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. I'm just a passionate guy.
Oh, good.
But the idea of an idea being organic to that person, which is something I love that you said, is it's got to be something you know. It can't be something that you're like, I don't know anything about this sector or anything. But wouldn't it be interesting? It's like, wait a minute. If you have a real world experience in it, you've seen it. These ideas are organic. They're 2 of them I proposed to Ben. Ben was like, wow, those are really interesting. Those could be great. And then one we came up with together, and we came so close to bringing it to market. We met with a couple of people that could help us technology-wise to take it there.
This was a decade ago when we almost started an app with a big app maker.
Yeah.
And we've always wanted to do a business together. And now we actually have the chance, and we're like, why don't we just embarrass ourselves and turn it into a show as well?
Yeah, and just be absolutely transparent. Both of us, if hopefully no one's going to steal these ideas, but we have proof that we put them out at this time. I don't care. Ideas are a dime a dozen, really. It's about execution and the people involved. And so what do you want to start with? Are you ready? When we pitch you these ideas?
Let's do it.
All right. What do you think?
Yes, let's go. All right, why don't
you want to do the Sonic art?
Well, yeah, I want to do Sonic art.
Sonic art.
This is the original.
Art. This is.
And by the way, you can tell us they are horrible, awful, all of them. Honest feedback. Yeah. Don't have to be venture businesses necessarily. Just tell us what you think off the top of your head.
And by the way, do you feel the need in these meetings to tell people that is a horrible idea? Because I had this app and I was in the space, early adopter when apps were just coming out, I get pitched by friends, especially kids of friends, that are just getting out of college or dropping out of college because they have a great idea and they got funded with friends and family of $500,000 or whatever. I'm like, oh, stay in college. I hear the idea and my gut tells me, I'm like, I don't know if that's going to scale. But I'm telling you. So would you rather just get them out of your office, or do you say, this is a teaching moment, I want to help these people?
No, I also got to be careful around the fact that I don't know everything. So if I try to pontificate your idea sucks, that's one of the worst things you could do, where that comment may not age well if it ends up being like Airbnb and Uber, because a lot of the best companies initially when pitched sound idiotic. So I just gotta be careful around that, just because also I just realized I don't have all the answers. I'll say it may not be for me. I'll give my feedback for it, but I won't say your idea sucks, because who the hell am I?
Yeah. Do you also sometimes want to think of the other applications for they're going after a niche, but doctors could really use this, or you know what I mean? There was one idea that a guy brought me. This is craziness. I did some stuff with the MLB as a celebrity, right? Yeah. I went to the All-Star game, whatever. And one of the guys at the MLB came up to me and he said, how many, and this is crazy. He said, how many times, I shouldn't even say this on the air because I don't know, but he never did anything with it. He said, there are so many times where athletes, where they get into situations where, it's consensual sex. This is his idea. At that moment, so I said, yeah. And he goes, there should be something where right at that moment, they can have this person that they are on the date with say, I give, yes, dude. Oh, God. Kobie, this is real. So I said, wait a minute, what? And he goes, yeah, right at that moment, something where they record into a thing saying, I agree. You're blowing the mood. Like that, talk about wilting. That's the worst thing I've ever. So
that's pretty bad.
Right. So that then developed for me.
Sonic art. So
No.
Good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
You're calling it Sonic art.
Exactly. No, but I was like, wait a minute, but this could be something else. There's IDs are being stolen. Forget that. But what about creating technology for you're at Target and you're about to check out and it records your face and you can look in and say, I'm Greg Grunberg and I'm making this purchase, just so that no one can steal your idea. Well, anyway, but that kind of thing where you can say, okay, well, maybe this isn't the right application for it. I'm sure you've had those moments, right?
For sure. And I also have to be careful where if I see the application for technology and a different sort of adjacent vertical be that much more exciting, maybe I'll tease it with them, but I'll be like, hey, you guys got to figure it out, follow your passions, the reason why you chose that vertical. But I'll offer my 2 cents around that. And in some cases, the founders will really latch onto it, and then they'll actually do research and come back and pitch an iteration of the idea. And sometimes I'll take a second meeting if that's the case. Yeah. But usually times that it happens, 99.99%, it just still ends up in a no.
When I was younger, there was a sort of a belly flop I used to do into the pool, and we called it the triple whale. Is that what triple whale is?
Good one, Greg. Let me explain triple whale, because they have been a great partner to my company, Octane AI. Triple Whale is a super powerful analytics platform built especially for e-commerce brands, but lots of people can use it. And it really specializes in accurately pinpointing your ad spend across all of your different networks on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. Not just what are you spending, but especially, is it effective? Are you actually able to acquire more customers than you're spending? Triple Whale is really powerful at solving that problem. And if you're using it, you're going to look like the smartest person in the room because you're going to really be able to tell your boss, your coworkers, your team exactly what's working, what's not working when it comes to ad spend, which is a huge part of growing a business. And big customers of ours like Obvi and Doe Lashes really rely on Triple Whale for this information and love the product. It's super robust. It helps you clarify campaign performance. It helps you run everything around ads smarter and faster. So for everyone out there, especially if you have a store, go to trytriplewhale.com and use the promo code NV15 for 15% off. That's trytriplewhale.com, promo code NV15 for 15% off.
All right, Sonic Art. Should I start?
You do Sonic Art, and
Okay.
then I'll do the next one.
Okay. Well, okay. All right.
We'll go back and forth. No,
Okay,
you
so
go.
Sonic Art, and by the way, this was 10 years ago. We have really come full circle with original art in NFT form and these other things, collectibles, just putting all of this stuff into your head. Very unique art based on other things. So when somebody speaks, when there's music or whatever, there is a sonic signature that happens. It happens all the time. My son has epilepsy. I can't tell you how many times I've been on an overnight EEG and his brain waves create some. Now, if you think of that as art, you think of the sonic signature, somebody singing, somebody talking. It's a very unique signature. Yep. So if somebody is, if somebody says something, somebody famous, somebody not so famous or whatever, I send you when I speak into this app, it creates art. And it might look like, something that like just a mishmash of colors or whatever. There's opportunity to buy brushes, buy different things to create that art, but within the app, add-on purchases. But there's this piece of art, and I send it to you. You then have a decoder on your end, so you see this thing, and you're like, "This is really cool," and then it decodes it, and it says, "Hey, Kobie, it's Greg. Just thinking about you, man. Love you." And you're like, "That's really cool." So you're able to send a gift to somebody. Okay. Now, think about the fact of attaching geolocation, which I did in with my coupon app. Geolocate that. So now I am standing at the Grand Canyon, and I'm like, this is so beautiful. I'm looking out, and I can't even. I'm recording this now, and it's creating art based on what I'm saying, and I then not only send it to who I want as a piece of art, but it lives in that location. Now somebody else walks in. And the app alerts them, you are entering a virtual museum. And now you can hear how other people have experienced this location. Another vertical for this is celebrities. If Bill Murray gives you a little tip on golf and it's unique, that is a unique one-off Bill Murray. You could lock that up as an NFT, and that piece of art not only has Bill Murray's voice, it's him saying something. That is a unique piece of art that could go up in value and could be traded. So there are many different aspects to it, but and there's so many more that we haven't even thought of. But the idea of creating art that lives in a space, that can tell a story, that creates the world becomes a virtual museum. Kevin Costner and a buddy of his are doing something. They just changed the name of it, but you go on a trip. I'm sure you've heard of this app, and you turn it on, and as you enter the location, it's like a docent is talking you through. So it's like you're about to enter, Navajo country, or the Indians, whatever. So I find it kind of boring, and I contacted them and I said, I'd love to do a couple of these for you because it's just boring. You need more actors, you need more whatever. But I like the idea of creating knowledge around location. So, but this is art.
Yeah. So you said a lot there.
I have so much more.
Well, my biggest question is like, there's a number of different things you're touching on there because just having a platform that has an overlay on the real world with some sort of like information layer that creates like an augmented experience, what you're talking about, and going to the Grand Canyon or the Washington Monument or wherever sort of attractions where there may be some relevant context you'd like to get from peers or members of the community that you'd want to learn from or hear from.
But it could also be user generated. If you
Well,
tied
that's what
this,
I mean. So it would be user generated. So that in and of itself is like its own concept or platform.
Yeah.
And I guess the question is like, does like what sort of like medium matters the most in that experience? Is it the visual component of the art, or is it the audio and basically on sort of the information? Like, what do you prioritize the most there? Because like trying to perfect like how audio is then sort of totally transformed into a physical representation of that sound is one value prop in itself, versus going through and just creating this augmentation on top of the entire sort of like world and key areas where then they're all sort of like user generated, with I'd say the primary objectives to probably inform those folks who are in those locations. And they probably are doing that not through, it's probably not doing it through like this visual, like, oh, this is random AI, they put this like image, it looks kind of cool. And that kind of goes more to the cue. Like, do you just need like a picture to like point to when you put up your phone to see if there's anything there? Or do you just basically walk around and you just get an alert and a notification that allows you then to scroll through and listen to things? So I guess my question is like, where is the art? Where does the art become important in sort of like that like layer? And then in what's more important versus like the layer on top of the real world, or just the notion of being able to create art through sound, and that in itself being enough of a novelty where you just kind of go straight down that rabbit hole.
It's a great question.
It sounds a little bit like maybe there's some narrowing down that has to be done here if it was the idea.
Yeah, I look at the art that's actual the art that will come up on your phone as a user acquisition tool, because if I send you this, you need to now download the app to to see what it says. I sent you a message, but it's a piece of art. That can then get you hooked onto the app. But it's a great question you're saying. It's almost like we have two apps within the app. Like,
and that might be too much to tackle.
You have two apps. You have two apps.
Yeah, because I was just going to say real quick is you can also, you don't have to have, you can take existing audio and create art or put it in that location. Citizen, if we can get citizens content, you can be walking around with these people that take these murder tours or whatever. I'm just saying there could be all kinds of...
I've never heard the Citizen app being called a murder tour app, but it kind of is.
No, but what I'm saying is...
Murder tour!
No, but they have it. In Hollywood, you can go around and see where all this terrible stuff's happened, who's buried where, what's happened. I'm saying there's the upside, the positive stuff to that too, where you're going around and you can hear... I'm on the corner, so this is crazy what just happened. And then as you get there and you're like, what happened here? And you push a button and it tells you something that happened here. Or I'm standing here and the parade went by. I can't believe I just saw so-and-so go by. Whatever it is, people can capture moments in the location, in the time, and it can live there. And you're 100% right that these are two different apps. You really are. I mean, it's interesting.
I think we're going to go from
the murder tours. Like it's a new feature for Citizen. Like, hey, I want you to start adding murder tours on this.
All right, we're going to go talk to the Citizen team. We're going to go, you know what? I'm going to use the end of life to go to the next idea, the beginning of life. You want to talk about
the... Are we off this idea already? Okay.
Well, we need it. We have only
to pitch all of them.
We got to pitch all of them. Got to go.
Pitch all of them. Okay. The second idea. Which one do you want to do?
ABs, burritos.
Okay. So you know this, and you it's fresher in your mind as well. When our kids were born, they teach you how to swaddle in the hospital, and I could not. No parent can really truly swaddle the way the nurses teach you to do it, right? So it's that material, like long underwear or whatever, and it stretches. It's that waffly material, and they're like this to this to this, and the baby's comfortable because it feels like it's back in the womb and it's tight and everything. Yep. And then as soon as you pick up your son, he breaks through it, and now he's crying.
He has his arm in there, and he's just like.
There's no way. So my dad, being in the clothing business for years, and I have contacts in China. This is years ago. My dad's 90 and he's doing great. But I grew up in this world, so I know it's so easy. So I contacted somebody based on an idea that I had. So I said, wait a minute, why don't I create? It's a receiving blanket. That's all it is. So and that receiving blanket has a little picture of a bear. That's a positive Velcro, and the bear negative Velcro. A dog and a dog. So you go bear to bear, dog to dog, and now the Velcro holds them in tight and they look like a baby burrito. It is So easy. You fold it up. You sell. It's in Target. It's everywhere.
Carter's.
And everybody always says, "Oh, your baby looks like a burrito." And so I came up with it. This is how long ago. My son's 26. I came up with this idea when he was 2, and I've had this idea for so long.
Wait, so have you made this already?
I made prototypes. They're long since gone, but I can make them again. And this was something that every time I mention it to a parent, and we want to keep our receiving blankets, so every hospital in the world could do this. They would have them. It's easy to teach. Babies are going to be more comfortable. I bet we could do studies where it says it calms the baby, because we know it does. But it's an easy thing. It's a retail, one SKU. That's what we were talking about, is like, can you even start is it worth it to do something with one product? But what are your thoughts on that?
I'm curious though, because the value prop is that if you swaddle a baby with this item and the method that you've architected, can they truly not get out of it? So have you done enough user testing to show that it actually is? So it's like the best swaddle ever. Like that baby ain't.
No, it locks them in, because you remember it's a you put it down like a diamond. You put the top down so it's straight. The baby's head is exposed, no problem, and then it just goes from here to here, here to here, and this comes up here. And if any, I mean, it's all about somebody actually doing what it says for them to do. But when it's bear to bear, kitten to kitten, and whatever, it's really simple.
Yeah, I mean, the way I think about it, you can't really patent that. I think it's more of just like a marketing play. So you're going to have to be incredibly lethal on marketing, branding, why people should buy this type of swaddle versus any others. You got to be incredibly smart around how you're tapping into the hospital channel. So that is the first swaddle that they're actually giving out. And then people start realizing, I need more swaddles. So then I go direct to that brand and buy them. But it's all a marketing play, because there's no defensibility around someone else to be like, I'm just going to create like a triangle or whatever, the same things itself, and put like numbers or whatever sort of like cues to fold. You can't patent that. So let
me answer your marketing play. Yes. You're looking at a guy who I know, because I'm so old and I've been in this business 30 years. I know every famous mom. I know them all. There's so many actors that have massive reaches on social and on talk shows or whatever, and they want a product. They want to diversify. They want to be that, Jennifer Garner. I mean, Jen and I talk all the time. She's got so many great companies and things. Kristen Bell's a really good friend of mine, but I know, Jennifer Love Hewitt and I have talked about several ideas. We almost took one to market. So that, I think, is the way to do it. That's the differentiator, because if you're buying a baby burrito that you saw Jen Garner talk about, or Jennifer Love Hewitt,
all the gens, you're just confusing.
I know a lot of gens. But
I'd say it's interesting, because my wife actually has a kids and baby clothing line. It's called Miles and Milan. So she basically came up with a different type of basically. The long story short, the idea is to come up with like simple color scheme, non-stereotypical sort of like, instead of like pink and blues, it's just black, white, and gray. And then a kind of hero initial kind of onesie that is like a t-shirt and a onesie integrated in one. And then she iterated from there in terms of adding on other sort of basics and staples that you'd want to have in your closet. So it makes it super easy to dress your child, because just like you mentioned with the swaddling, like, it's annoying to try and go through the process of like these constant routine tasks that just create friction around just getting your kid ready, getting them to sleep. So taking the fuss out of like dressing your child in the morning is something that every parent kind of goes through. So I've seen a lot of this. I mean, it's the thing is that kids. So if you kill it on the one SKU, then it's like, all right, what's next? Because you have to think about how this turns into potentially being, I don't know, the next Carter's or whatever sort of kids or baby brand there may be. Yeah. So I just ask yourself, like, is this like a venture scale business? Like, could this be a multi-billion-dollar company? Or is this a great, like, solid, like, this will get to 30, 40, 50, 100 million in revenue, cash flow nicely, and like you'll sell it for
pretty
1
great
and 2x.
Too, if you get to that.
Right. And then now you're letting me, I mean, I'm thinking, do we pitch this to someone like your wife?
We could partner,
This could be
I was thinking the same thing.
Again, you have the multiple SKUs, you have the brand. Are you interested in this idea? Because that's for me. I mean, I don't have another baby idea.
Ah,
Right. We're
Right
not,
now.
I like on this show, we're not like necessarily trying to start something that's make multi-billion dollars. Like we would love to be multi-billionaires and do that,
Well,
but
we'll
we
have
want
that
us to
idea.
see things come into existence and learn and make mistakes on the way. And we
Yeah.
think that everyone else will learn along with us as we do it.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Like-
don't know. I kind of like swaddles and golf balls. I think that's your new
Swaddles and
those are
golf
your-
balls.
those are your
You're not going to
verticals.
lose your ball, and you're not going to lose your baby.
No,
Same excuse.
I think if the swaddle truly is like that killer and works, like I mean, parents will
does.
want. They have swaddles that like are like one simple Velcro strap over. It doesn't work. I mean, like you need to do the true folding. You need to have that sort of like leveraging mechanism where that baby ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can brand it really cool and they have the right sort of influences around it, yeah, it should work. But just thinking through what's like the next series of products, because once you have the initial customer, you want to sell them a lot more things, and selling them things that are at the same level of quality standard and like helping like affect like the way that they're parenting in a way that's positive, that then helps you start like creating something pretty magical. So I think it's interesting. I like it more than Sonic Art, because I
Good.
feel like you can like this you could really build a business here like tomorrow in the right
This is
way.
why we came to you.
I know, but it's so interesting because before we got on with you, I said, I'm like, look, I don't want to just take some little product to Kobie. I mean, it's because you've dealt with these big companies, but it's so interesting because I agree with you. I mean, you start with that, and then it could be a line just to make life easier for parents, and that's what your wife is doing. When I grew up, it was Dunkaroos or something like that, where it was like,
I had those.
remember those?
I do.
That was also where it's like on the hanger, it was a carrot and this carrot. So we knew these two things go together. For parents that just can't figure it out, it was like, this is a great thing. Anyway, I
Now
love
I'm
the
just-
idea of pitching to someone who's already got an established company. But then how do you become partners on just one item in their company?
That's doable, though. We
Okay,
could do that. Maybe someone wants to reach out to us, or maybe we'll just go talk with your wife.
You can just pitch my life, yes.
Yeah,
pitch
I know.
Yeah.
I would love to just pitch your wife and just hear what she thinks of it.
No,
honestly,
cool. You guys should talk. You guys should talk about it. I mean,
Okay.
like literally half my life is I come home and it's nothing but baby and kids clothes. So
Okay.
like,
All right, third idea. Let me pitch this too, just because I'm.
No, yeah, you came from you. You got it.
Yeah, this is so look, I like to eat, and ice cream is something that I've always loved. I had a roommate, J.J. Abrams, my best friend in the world, and we've known each other since we were 5. After college, we lived together. He's the only person I know that can grab a pint of ice cream, take a bite, and put the pint back. That's not me. I don't do it. I will not even transfer ice cream from a pint into a bowl. I don't care who you are. You can be Mr. Harvard and you're healthy and look at
He
you.
takes the pint and just
Sorry,
does
dude.
this.
Sorry. Most people eat out of the pint. And the first thing they do after they grab it out of the freezer is they look for a dish rag or they look for a paper towel and they wrap it in a paper towel. No one has created the pint parka. The pint parka it's a koozie for your ice cream. It's made of it's a parka material, and I have prototypes, all kinds of really cool prototypes. It's a it funnels. It's like a sleeve, and your pint goes right in it. It keeps your hands warm, your ice cream cold. This is, in my mind, fucking huge when you go, because it encourages you to eat more ice cream. If you're gonna eat this ice cream out of the pint, truthfully, you talk to Ben & Jerry's, you talk to Haagen-Dazs or whatever, they're like, wait a minute. Now we're telling people these are individual sized containers. We're not saying that, but this is what it's going to encourage.
you're saying like if you're not sharing, you're basically going all in. Like,
No, I mean, maybe
It's
a
your
couple.
own personally designed pint parka,
well,
too.
I could see couples
it's
passing.
like it has my name on it and everything. Like this is
Well,
Yeah.
hey, listen, if we went to Netflix and we put Netflix and chill on the outside of it, it's a big marketing play. And yes, and these things sit inside each other, the way you would, a cups stack, like coffee cup stack, outside the freezer in the market. Again, and I know free shelf space, blah, blah, blah. It's all impossible. Forget all that just for a second, because people, I know people, whatever. But if I can blast this everywhere. Every time I use it all the time. And everybody that I give a gift to with it, they're all like, I use it every day. Every time I have ice cream, I use it. It's so easy. I just grab it, slip the pint in, and I watch TV.
You know what's messed up? If I took a pint out, and then I'm like, oh, I'm grabbing what's the name of the product called?
Pint Parka.
If I take my pint parka, that means like, oh, I'm going in. Like I'm literally, I'm literally committed to like devour
the whole thing.
Like, maybe I'll give someone else a spoonful. And it's like, oh, it's a pint parka night.
Yeah.
Like, oh hell yeah, it is. Like it was all
that's good. It's a
Yeah.
Pint Parka type night. And also bring your parka. We're watching the Super Bowl. Bring your parka. I got some great ice cream. And by the way, individual making them like I'll send you pictures of them that I made the prototypes, but some of them are straight for the Kardashians. Like I made one that's fur, and it's so. My wife is like, "This is adorable. It's going to get full of ice cream and no way to wash it." And I'm like, "I know, but the parka and my prototypes. This is crazy." And I got recognized. I went to Goodwill and I bought all these kids parkas, and the guy at the counter's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to cut the sleeves because they're already tapered and they're perfect. They're perfect." So I cut them. Wait, Kobie, you're going to love this. I bought a sewing machine and I sewed them and they're beautiful. They're awesome. I'm going to send you, and the logo is amazing. It looks like a throwback, really cool pint parka. It's a parka for your ice cream. It's a parka for the pint of ice cream. And
well, it'll be interesting then if you're thinking about sort of the sustainability angle of like going back to the whole kids route. Like kids grow out of their clothes all the time, and it's like send in like your parkas, and we're gonna recirculate them.
oh my god! And by the
Already
way,
adding value.
by the way, no. What he's saying is really, if I was using a pint parka, and this was the jacket that my son wore when he was a kid. Honestly, I'm getting like.
Emotional?
Yes, because they're little. My wife has held on to a couple little pieces of clothing from our boys, and it's so sweet. And we have had a lot of other relatives that have, and we give clothes away. But if you were able to make something out of that's so fucking smart.
Well, maybe that's another idea around. You can make them into pint parkers, but what if there's other things you could do to repurpose clothes that your kids burn through that you could?
No, it's a good idea, man.
There could be an assortment of things where it's like these are usable ways in which, like, oh, like I really like that jacket my kid used to wear all the time. He's grown out of it. I don't want to donate it, but it's weird having this like Ram Kids jacket in here. So maybe you can like these options turn into a parka, turn into like a quilt. I don't know. Take all things.
If you look, if we sat around a table and started thinking about things like that, the thing about that though is you wouldn't want them sending it into you to then turn it. So what you would send out would be a pattern of how to do it. Or instructions, so it would be like a kit. That's the only way to monetize it.
I think you can send it to a service. I think people
you can send it in.
Really?
Yeah, you can do it.
They want expertly done. Totally.
Because you want to have to deal the like sewing.
That's true.
Our patented technology, help make it so that it's ready for the ice cream.
It's because you want to memorialize this. You want to remember it.
Yeah, I think there's something there about that, and the amount of people out there would actually spend for a pint parka that's made from their kid's jacket because it's nostalgic and it's rememberable. They'll spend like way more than if they just buy a random parka that was repurposed from Goodwill, which is still works fine, but there's something there around.
To sell these in the stores, the original concept of it, you realize we could make these for a dime. These are make it for nothing, and you would absolutely buy a pint parka for $4.99, $9.99, but maybe not $9.99.
The Kardashian version's $499.99. By the way, for those today's recording is on National Ice Cream Cone Day, so I feel like this is. It is. National Ice Cream. My girlfriend and I are going to get free ice cream cones after this.
All I need you to do is tell me that.
Kobie. National Ice Cream Cone Day today?
Today is National Ice Cream Cone Day for those who are listening. Today, that's the day we're recording.
Is every day a day?
Yes. It's like 18 days.
The worst.
You could just do a website just for the days.
Can we just have a National Start Your Diet Day? Because that's what I need. Okay?
National Keep On Your Diet Day. Okay, Kobie. It sounds like there's more workshopping on Sonic Art.
Yep.
It sounds like you resonated more with Pint Parka and with Baby Burrito. And we have other ideas, but between the other two, which one would you say we should start with as the first business that we try to do on Business Envy?
I actually like the avenue you're going down with Pint Parka. Because it taps into some of the sustainability elements, and also I feel like there's interesting things that inject more emotion around the product that you're creating. And if you start pulling on that thread around repurposing clothes, you said kids' clothes, and parents like are obsessed with their kids for the most part, unless you have like misfit kids. But if there are other things you make besides like pint parkers, but other sort of collections, because you need another SKU. You need another SKU besides the actual pint parka.
Oh no, you're talking about. No, you're so smart, dude. It's like you think about it. We think, okay, jeans. What can we do with jeans? We just have to roundtable that. You and I have to just think, what else could we make? Because I just looked at it and I was like, wait a minute, this is already tapered. And I tried it with an adult jacket and it was too wide, it was too big. So then a kid's jacket, it was perfect. And I can get 2 out of each sleeve. It actually worked. It worked perfectly. Because the taper is the hardest thing to sew. So I was like, whoa, but that's so smart.
Because all these clothes, you either donate them, you're donating or handing them down to friends or whatever, or they just like sit in the closet for God knows how long.
Yeah.
But if there's a way in which there's these few pieces that like I just remember my kids had at this age, and then suddenly I can repurpose this into like other items that are more useful for me as a parent, or maybe useful for the kid. Maybe you can actually repurpose like clothes into backpacks for them or something like that. I don't know.
No, you're right. Take a pair of jeans and you can make it. Remember we used to wrap books when we were kids? Books are now digital, but book covers or whatever. I have to say though, when we were kids, I'm a lot older than you, but when I was a kid, we used to bronze our kids' shoes, like their first shoes. You would bronze them and then and then you
bronze them?
Oh no, everybody did it. And look up kids' bronze shoes. They still do it. And you have them on the shelf.
It's not mainstream. I don't know about it. Like if I can bronze my kid's Jordan 1s that he's ran out of, like boom, then now I have like bronze J's that are on my.
I know from your son's first J. I mean that's what it was. It was their first shoes that they ever had, and they bronze them, and they're beautiful, and they're like. And it's like a little statue that you could put. Look it up. You won't believe it. It was massive. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about sending it in and saying, all right, take these. This is what I want. I see the items on the thing. I want whatever it is. I want dish towels. I want this. I want I love that. That business is great. Great. It's recycling. It's emotional recycling. Into emotional items. That's exciting. And then the other idea of just making these, I really see a need. I think there's a need for it. It's a great advertising.
I think it's pretty cool.
I think we're going to need to bring on a guest who really understands clothing and really understands like the cycle, we can.
Yeah, for sure.
On a future episode of Business Envy.
Well, your wife. We got to talk to your wife about that.
Yes, your wife.
Well, okay, so but I don't know, man. I'm really excited about pine parka. I really am.
I really want some ice cream right now. Honey lavender. I want a pint of honey lavender right now.
Jenny's is good ice cream. Dude, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, no, this was fun. This is awesome. This was good. It was probably the best podcast I've been on. This was great.
We didn't even get into all the other stuff.
Guess what? We always start the podcast off with a quote. We have a quote from our guest. There it is. This is probably the best podcast.
Congratulations, you just made the trailer.
Oh man, if you wouldn't mind, if we ever have a question we could throw, do you mind? You're just so great, dude.
Oh no, totally no. Like you should hit me up at any time, and no, we should. I just like jamming on some of these ideas. You guys have lots of cool, fun, creative ideas, so no, it'd be good.
I just want people on the podcast to know that there was an idea that was so good we cut it out of the podcast.
Yeah, I pitched you. We laughed about it. It was great, and also my son.
We cut that one out because that was so damn good.
Exactly. It was so good. We don't want to expose it to millions of people.
Guys, this term sheet's coming tomorrow.
Right. You heard it. You recorded. We heard it.
For sure.
We're going to come back to you, and we're going to have you come back when we need to go and market Pint Parka, because literally, like, we didn't even get to the part where you're the CMO of REVOLVE, and, like, you have all that experience, too. So we'll have a jam session on that later on, because this is all about building a business here.
Yep.
Or 10.
Sounds good. Fun. That was awesome. This is fun.
Business Envy, hosted and produced by Ben Parr and Greg Grunberg. Music and production by me, Nick Marzak, a Motel Podcast production.